Hey everybody, welcome back to another, video, another weekly weight loss update video. I cannot believe that it has been another week. This is crazy. The time needs to slow down. But if you are new to my channel, I'm Jen. I started taking Mounjaro back in March of 2023. I'm now on compounded tirzepatide. I'm primarily taking it to get myself healthy, to lose weight, and just, reclaim, like I said, I'm just trying to learn each and every day what healthy looks like for me. But I want to start by showing you some of my health metrics. I'm going to put some up on the screen. But what I want to say is that I currently weigh 170. And it would be very wrong of me to come on here and say, I've lost 6 pounds. Hey guys, I've lost 6 pounds. This is how I lost 6 pounds in, 2-3 weeks, whatever it is. Being 2 years on a weight loss journey on, compounded tirzepatide now. And it really was one where that weight crept up in April. And I felt like as soon as I started getting myself back on track for the past like 2.5 weeks or so, 3 weeks, that kind of came off rather quickly. And now I'm at what I call my starting point. I've decided, I'm sharing that with you all today, but I really truly believe 170 is the number that I want to say this is where I'm starting at. And moving forward, I'll show you my body fat percentage. I'll show you just all my metrics from the HUME Health Body Pod. And now moving forward, I'm going to base it off of that because I think that's more realistic. But what I found very fascinating this week is that I took 5 milligrams on a Friday, the second one, and I was like, am I going to have the same success as the week before? And success to me is food noise, the chatter's down, and I can focus on my eating plan. I can focus on my movement, my working out, and just, getting healthy. And I think in the back of my mind, I was like, was that first week a fluke? Will it all of a sudden reverse? And I can tell you right now, I'm not a medical professional. I've seen absolutely nothing out there other than people stopping and going back on to reclaim benefits of these GLP-1s. But for me, I went in another week of food noise reduction, as in I went to the food store, got the foods that I needed. I ran in there after the gym twice just to pick up a couple things. Didn't grab any snacks. No chips, cookies, nothing. And that is a win for me. That has been a struggle of mine the past like 3 months with that noise coming back and trying to battle it. And constantly, I would have one good day and then the next 2 days not so great. Then I would have two, great days and then another day not so. It was just a lot of instability, uncertainty, around that part that I'm still trying to work on. And once again, this week, I can't explain it. I don't know how it is possible that I have been on this weight loss journey for 2 years. The highest I've gone was 12.5 that I couldn't last more than 2 weeks on because that appetite suppression was just unbearable. I am somebody that thinks feeling hungry is normal. I am somebody that likes to eat on a timed basis on occasion. And the fact that I had to remind myself to eat lunch or a snack or like a snack before you work out or like, a good healthy dinner. Like I shouldn't have to remind myself. I shouldn't have to struggle to get calories in. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what healthy weight loss looks like for me. And I'm only speaking about me. But the highest was 12.5 for like 2 weeks. And then I just teetered on 7.5 and 10 for almost a year, going up and then down, up and down, but all dealing with side effects. And that's ultimately the reason why I decided enough is enough. I need to get the dose down. The fatigue was awful. I need to just reclaim some sort of normalcy in my day to day. It was affecting, my personal life, my professional life. It's just, I don't want that struggle, the fatigue to just consume me. And I never thought going down to 5 milligrams was going to actually flip the script on me. And it has. And then going into it, I don't know what this next week's going to bring, but wrapping up week 2 of decreasing it, no food noise. and I was able to stick to my meal plans. I was able to get my 4 workouts in, my strength training workouts. I actually did on 2 days this week. I'm not a runner anymore. I never really was a true runner. I would run, you know, because my friends were, and I wanted to be in some of the races with them, and I wanted to just, you know, it's a competitive side and just, you know, something to feel as if I, you know, was a part of, like, just a part of their journey I wanted to be part of. And so I decided this week that I wanted to run walk. And so I asked ChatGPT, I was like, hey, I call him Chatty. Hey, Chatty, I want to run walk. I haven't run. I didn't tell them that, but I did do one run walk in April. But I was like, hey, Chatty, I want to start run walking, beginner here. I don't have a desire to run a 5K, but maybe you create me a plan over the next 8 weeks where I can progress to running 3 miles. And, you know, it shot me back and said, okay, for week 1, you run a minute and walk 2 minutes. And I was like, perfect. And then you do 10 rounds of it. And I did that this week. I did that on Monday, and I loved it. I was sweating, face got a little red. I wasn't breathing heavy. My heart rate stayed at a good range. And I just felt fantastic. Came back, foam rolled, did my massage gun. I did a lot of the mobility work because for me, I can strength train, I can walk, I can do certain things. But the moment I start running, I get a little bit of tightness in my hips. And so I always like to just do a little bit of work afterwards. So I made sure to do that. And then I did that again. I did a run walk on Thursday, felt fantastic. I don't want to exceed anything more than 2 times a week right now. It's just a little switch up of sorts, just to get my heart rate and just, you know, get going a little bit, get a good sweat. But I think I did so well on that because I was eating really well this week, and I was sticking to my meal plans, and just I thoroughly enjoyed every part of this week. That, like I said a million times before, if that food noise is just dialed down a smidge, turn the volume down just even a half, I'm able to do the things that I want to do. Now, here's a funny story though. I have been looking in, so I have the HUME Health Body Pod. I've been looking at, you know, my BMR and just the calorie recommendations. And then, you know, I'm just trying to learn things, not overcomplicate things with a lot of tools and gadgets and all that. But then I have the Lumen device and I'm doing my readings, and, you know, the days that I would blow a 2, I'm like, okay, what did I do the night before? Let's try to think about this and come up with a good system around it. And I was also exploring, there's different tracks in Lumen. There's the metabolic health, the healthy weight loss, and then the fitness performance. And I don't know why, I just was like, what's the fitness performance all about? Let me take a look at that. Let me see what those macro breakdowns would look like. Do they give you more protein, but the carbs and fat stays the same? Do they give you a little more carbs, less fat? Like, I was just intrigued and wanted to learn. Well, I forgot to switch it back to the healthy weight loss track. And Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, as I've said before, I'm trying to trust the process, trust science, and look at, like, you know, my numbers. And I was like, I woke up, I did my reading, I got my macros. I was like, wow, that's a lot of fat and carbs. It's like, that's weird. Maybe it's like, I'm calling it like a refeed day. Like I'm a professional bodybuilder or something. I was like, maybe it notices I need like a little bit more this week. And it's like, why would it? You've only been eating good for 2 weeks. And so I just stuck with it. And so then Wednesday rolls around and I was like, wow, this just doesn't seem right. And so, you know, Wednesday throughout the day, I'm like, oh my God, did I change it back to healthy weight loss? And I was like, no, you didn't. You didn't. You were eating for fitness performance. And so that's why I was noticing, like, I was eating like an 1800 calorie range. And I was like, maybe that was just me, you know, because I was trying to eat a little bit more carbs or a little more fats. Like I should have done better. I should have had that in my 1700 range. And like, not, trust me, not stressing, not overthinking this. This was fun to me. This was a fun week of just learning how I feel again. And I was like, well, you dummy, you didn't change it back to healthy weight loss. So I did. Obviously, I changed it back. We were back on course on Thursday. But what I want to say is that there were moments, like when I weighed in on Friday, I was like, you know, just thinking about how the week went, what I enjoyed, what are some like little changes I could make. Like, you know, I think I do better when and I've said this before, I just do better when I don't eat as many carbs at dinner. I do more carb heavy throughout the day, from breakfast, mid-morning snack, and dinner. And I'm like, okay, that's the area I can change. But because I only really lost like 0.2 pounds this week, I was like, well, maybe you should shave like 100 calories off to just, summer's coming up. That's where my mind was going. And do you guys comment below? Do you do that? Like, you could have like a killer week or two, and maybe that number on the scale isn't changing, and you're tracking like I am and just enjoying the process. And now you're starting to think, well, maybe I need to shave back. We're so quick to shave back calories, where I know as a fact, based off of Lumen and my HUME Health Body Pod, that my calories that I'm consuming should give me a pound of weight loss. So I said to myself, stop, trust the process. You gotta trust the process. My little sidekick's joining me. Hi, sweetie. Can you sit down next to me? See, she came in to tell us all that we needed to trust the process. And I think that's the most important message I want to give to all of you, that, you could have a good week or two and you're like, well, I don't get it. I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm eating whole foods. I'm working out. I'm doing this and this and this. And I haven't lost any weight. Trust the process. Ride it out. A week or two, like I just told myself, girl, you did good for 2 weeks. You're not going to lose 20 pounds. Like, you're not going to undo what you did January, February, March, and April. Stop it. Like, these 2 weeks, enjoy them, celebrate them. But you're not going to just wake up and miraculously lose body fat percentage and like 20 pounds. That's not, well, that would be amazing, but that's not the case. So I was like, I had to reel myself back in for a second, because I was like, well, maybe I should kind of go into the 1600 calorie range, because, you can change, and I'll put it up here. You can change your weight loss tracker in HUME Health Body Pod. So it'll take your BMR, and then it'll tell you if you want to lose 2 pounds, this is around how many calories. If you want to lose 1.5 pounds or a pound, this is, your calorie range. And so I just was like, no, I am not changing anything, because I feel amazing. I feel so good with my breakdowns that I have currently and eating 1,700 calories. Now I do need, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I do need some sleep improvements. Just nothing major, but I just can't seem to figure out, like, I'm not getting enough deep sleep. So I've been doing some sleep data, and also sleep data is for what it is. You could be like, oh, you need to have more deep sleep, or you need to have more REM or the core or whatever. But it's really truly how I feel when I wake up in the morning. And I'm waking up and I'm tired. I'm tired in the morning. And then I look at the sleep data and I know why, because I'm not sleeping as well. But I'm waking up like a couple times in the night and I'm warm. So it's like, okay, got to have a better environment. I had the fan, I turned the air on, like little things that I can do there. And then I went and I got a cooling blanket from Sam's Club. Listen, it was like 15, 16 bucks. It didn't break the bank. It was worth the risk for me. And that was one where, as if I describe it as if you have a blanket and you put it on an air conditioning unit for like an hour or two, or put it in your freezer, and then you take it out and then you lay it on top of you and you're like, oh, this is amazing. But once again, still was struggling a little bit with just trying to stay asleep consistently through the night. I know I could wake up once, that's fine, but I'm waking up 2-3 times and I can't have it. So I also started thinking a little bit more about like the supplementation. I did a magnesium biglycinate. I'm not a medical professional. I butcher any supplements, and yeah, I'm terrible at pronouncing. I can't even say pronouncing. I'm just terrible at saying those type of names. But I was doing Thorn, the powder, for a while, and I was like, let me bring that back into the mix, because I had a little bit left, and I forgot how much it does help me, but it's too sweet. And I just feel like right now, things that are sweet really have an effect on me, like Prime hydration drinks, which, by the way, they're really not I'm not talking about energy, I'm talking about hydration. They're not the greatest. It's like chemical water. I'm not somebody that like is into that type of thing, to call things a certain way, but it really isn't. It's like 10% coconut water and some like chemicals in it. And it's not the greatest, but I do love it. On occasions, in the past, I would have it as a treat. I would put it in my Ninja Creamy, and I make a slushie in the summer. And I think it's okay to have on occasion. And so this week I decided they were having $1 off at my gym, and I was like, oh, I haven't had the lemonade Prime in a while. I'm going to get it. Oh my God. It tasted like I was having like clean, like it tasted like I was drinking like cleaning solution or something. And I was like, what is going on? Maybe it's my taste buds, whatever. But yeah, going back to the supplement, sorry, total tangent there, but I can't force myself to drink it. I did twice this week and I said, no, I can't do this. So I started researching, you know, some supplements. Can't do melatonin. Melatonin gives me horrible nightmares, like vivid nightmares, really bad. Don't want that. So I was like, let me just do some research. Let me figure this out. And I know I've seen, you know, other content creators talk about this product. I've seen and on social media a little bit, like from like Instagram, but I see a lot of comments in some of the Facebook groups about people. And I was like, you know, I could see if a couple, but a lot of people talked about it to the point where I was like, let me research, what is it, Bioptimizers? Let me research that. I'm not buying in on it or anything, but let me just take a look at it. And I was like, they have sleep breakthrough and magnesium. Comment below if you use any of their products. But I was like, well, I didn't think that in sleep, and I don't know enough about it and didn't have the time to research all of it. And I was like, well, I don't think it has enough. Like, why is it a small amount of the daily recommendation? Like, I was just trying to do a comparison. And ultimately, I was like, let me just think this through. When I go to Mom's Organic Market, I'm going to look because they have a ton of supplements there, really good quality supplements. Let me take a look at what they have. Let me look at their costs. And I went to the area that had like sleep, you know, support. And they had Bioptimizers there and it was on sale. And I was like, you tired? Okay, sorry. Somebody had to put out a big sigh before she crashed. And there was the Bioptimizers there on sale and they had Magnesium Breakthrough. And so I was comparing it to a couple other things that they had. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to do a month of it unless I have any adverse reaction to it. I'm going to do a month of it. And I know that's not enough. I think most of the time you don't really see benefits for like 2-3 months. But I'm going to take a month and I'm going to see, is this really up to what people talk about? And I'm going to do 30 days, barring any setbacks. If no setbacks, I'm going to commit to another, 60 days. I'll do 90 days of it to see if, the increase in magnesium that we hear so much about that can help with sleeping will help. Everything else is in place. All of my food, my cutoff times, hydration, my supplement stack that I'm currently taking, all of it is geared towards me for optimal health for me. I just still can't break that sleep barrier. So that is that area of focus going into, the next couple weeks. But yeah, I wanted to give a little bit of a recap this week. And I also want to tell you that if you're dealing with any side effects or just anything in general where you're concerned about going down a dose, I personally, once again, not a medical professional, but I personally say, just try it. You could be pleasantly surprised. Or what's the worst that happens? You have your food noise that you've had on 7.5 and 10, like in my case. Appetite suppression still doesn't, it's still on par with, you 7.5 or 10 or 12.5. Like, I'm just putting it in my context of things that maybe you could ultimately look back on. If you were on this journey for a while, you could look back and say, well, I did really good on this dose and I'm close to my weight and I'm struggling here, here, and here. And I don't want to go up because of side effects. What's going to happen when I go down? I want to tell you, you don't know until you try. You don't. And thankfully, in my case, it has been one of the best decisions that I have made in a long time. And I want to just end with that. I think that there's so many unknowns. I don't know what this week's going to bring or next week's going to bring. But there are so many unknowns that really all we can continue to do is just control the things that we can control and try to stay on course and don't drastically change things week over week. Just because maybe you didn't lose weight this week or for 2 weeks doesn't mean you're not all of a sudden going to see a weight loss in week 3 or week 4. Trust the process, enjoy the journey, and I'm going to see what this week brings. But thank you so much for watching today's video, my weekly update. I am going to be doing a what I eat in a day this week because I have changed a little bit of some of the things that I'm eating during the week. And I just would love to show you because I love to watch everybody else's to get ideas. So I have that coming up on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button. If you like today's video, hit the like button, turn on notification bells so you don't miss any future videos. But I will catch you in my next video. Bye.